Hey, what's going on, everybody? Wanted to jump on here and do a live stream. I was actually scheduled to do a hit with Topher this morning. Definitely 100% going to throw Topher under the bus. He just didn't show up. He didn't text or anything, so thanks a lot, Topher. And we thought about maybe bringing the ball machine out here. All the indoor courts are full. Thought about maybe bringing the ball machine out here and doing a ball machine training session. I'm just limited on time. It'd be a pain to bring the balls and the ball machine out here and hit. I texted Mark and Scott and Ira. They were all busy, so we had everything set up. So we figured, you know what? Let's just jump on and do a quick kind of ask me anything. Any questions you guys have about the channel, about tennis, about improvement. I've got the live chat right here. I just want to start off by just saying thank you to all the channel members. We have 70 channel members as of right now, and it's really helping out pay the new editor that we have working on our content, which frees up time of our kind of full-time editors who are normally working on instructional stuff for Essential Tennis. So channel members, you guys are legendary. Really appreciate you all so much. Also, big thank you to Diadem and Go Sport. At the end of June, I'm going to do like a comprehensive breakdown of here's how much money came in from memberships, here's how much money came in from ads, from Diadem, from Go Sport, and I'm going to make this fully transparent and just tell you guys where we're at and how much it costs to edit the matches and edit the training sessions and so on and so forth. So I just want to say across the board, Diadem, Go Sport, channel members, thank you all. A ton. It's enabling us to come out with these matches and training sessions and all that. Okay, so Mark, yeah, and big shout out to Mark Sanset. He's working right now and moderating the chat, so appreciate it, Mark. So if you guys want to get kicked out of the chat, just make fun of Mark. Let's see. You playing McKinley Mixed this year? So, you know, I probably should. What's most frustrating for me not training and hitting today is I feel like really ready to go physically. This would have been my first hitting session in 2 weeks. I really let myself recover from the match against Chris. And I've just been busy also. So today was going to be my first time hitting, and I feel like I could go really hard today, probably play a couple matches today if I had to. I feel like I'm probably ready for that type of thing. My shoulder's feeling really solid. I haven't reached out to Beth yet. I would totally play with Beth again. And we had a lot of fun. That was 2 years ago. So that's a good question. I don't know as of right now. I think it's in July. So, wow, it's like July next week, isn't it? Yeah. So I should probably look into that. So I don't have any plans as of right now, but it would definitely be fun. Jess, thank you so much for the super fan. Really appreciate it. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Any questions you guys have, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I thought I saw another one. Mandizimum, good to see you in the chat. You think Rune or Sinner will have a better career? So one of the things that's unexpected about being me is I don't have time to watch tennis. I've watched both of them play a total of maybe like a half an hour or maybe an hour. So I haven't seen either of them play a lot. I'm not the right person to ask that question. The only time I watch tennis is if it's like a major final with like one of the big, I guess it's the big two now, big three. I guess you could throw Alcaraz in there. Well, Nadal's not playing, so sadly, we're kind of winding down on the big three era. But if there's like the big three are playing and like a slam semifinal or final, I'll jump in and watch just because it's like historic kind of thing. But other than that, I haven't just sat down and watched tennis hardly at all in the last couple of years. Between family and business and like trying to play a little bit also, I just haven't had the time to keep up with it. So sorry, I'm not the right person to ask. I have no idea. Let's see, who do you think is going to win Wimbledon? Get the T out of, I'm going to call you out, Matthew. One of my biggest pet peeves in tennis is people who say Wimbledon. So please, Matthew, adjust that. Get rid of the T, put in a D. Man, Alcaraz, he just won his first grass tournament, right? I think, like a couple days ago. I watched Alcaraz play in person, the finals of the BNP Paribas. It was amazing. And he just dominated Medvedev in that match. Obviously, grass, totally different animal. But man, he's so unbelievably impressive athletically, mentally, tactically. He was serving and volleying against Medvedev, just making it look super easy. Medvedev obviously like way back. He was coming in right off the serve and putting away, you know, easy volleys. It looked like me playing Mark. Alcaraz playing Medvedev. Mark, you're welcome. Man, I don't see anybody but him. I don't see anybody like matching him. I know there's some other incredible players out there that are kind of up and coming, but it feels like we've been in that mode for like 5, 6, 7 years now, where it's like, oh, there's these exciting like new players, but Alcaraz is the only one that's like separated himself from the group of people where everybody's talking about it, and he's actually like doing it. So I'd love to see Alcaraz win Wimbledon. Would be awesome. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Match live today? No. So there is a match. Channel members, I haven't announced this yet, but Sanset, Mark is playing live against Mike Trice on Thursday. It's Thursday, right, James? Yeah. Is today Wednesday? Yeah, tomorrow. Oh, wow. Yeah, tomorrow. Mark Sanset's playing Mike Trice tomorrow here on this court. It's going to be outside, slower surface. This is the matchup that I'm personally most excited about since Olive. I mean, since Olive for sure. I was really excited about Olive's matches. Yeah, so since Olive. Since Olive versus like Mark, as most excited I've been for a match. So we're going to stream that. We're going to live stream that on Thursday. So Ultra channel members, you guys will get to watch it live. I think it's at 3:30. Yeah, 3:30 Central Time on Thursday, and you can watch the replay of the stream too. Okay, so that's the next match is Sanset versus Trice rematch. Let's see. We want to see you play Mark. Yeah, I will again eventually. So I've been in this perpetual position. So Mark obviously like destroyed me when we played. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, he literally, like, not even figuratively, like he literally destroyed me. I got really lucky. I didn't break my ankle in that match, and I was like at the peak of like really ramping up. I was doing the high performance like training with a coach. I was hitting multiple times a week, and my goal was to like come back, ramp up again, and then rematch Mark. Now here's the problem. Since that injury, Mark has really improved as a player a lot. Like he's a much stronger tennis player now than he was 2 years ago. I am not. Since then, I also tore my rotator cuff, and I took the last 12, 14 months off. And so I'm like right back at like the starting line again. And Mark is like another 2-3 miles down the race, you know, further down the track than I am. And so if I played Mark right now, it would be worse than before, right at this moment, right now. So the tricky part, like I want it to be more competitive than last time, and it's difficult because Mark has improved, and I'm just kind of get back to like average again. And so I have to get out here and hit enough times repetitively enough that I feel like, okay, I'm in a better place than I was 2 years ago, and that just hasn't happened yet. And so will it happen? I hope so. I can't say for sure. If Mark keeps getting better and I don't commit more time to being on the court, and I don't commit more time to developing myself, and I don't make it more of a priority over like work and family and stuff like that, which I'm not doing right now, then I don't know. I'm not going to rematch him unless I think I can do better than the time before. I'm not going to wait till I think I can win, because frankly, that might not ever happen. But I want to at least do better, and so I'm in a tough spot. So I don't know when that's going to happen. All right, where did I leave off here? Who's the GOAT? Djokovic, definitely. How does Mark smell like? I don't think I can answer that without being racist. So I'm going to definitely pass on that. Why didn't you play last year? Because I tore my shoulder. I've been recovering from shoulder tear. I tore my rotator cuff about 1.5 years ago. The match I tore it in was against Adam, so you can actually watch that match. It's on Essential Tennis, right? Yeah. Me versus Adam is on Essential Tennis. Yeah, Djokovic, obviously the GOAT. Would you ever set up a match with any of the old ET coaches? It'd be cool to see you play against Kevin or Kirby. Yeah, that's not out of the question. Kevin, I have actually talked to Kevin about coming on the channel and playing a match. That would be awesome, wouldn't it, if Kevin played a match? So Kevin is down, but we have to kind of get together and work out scheduling and the logistics. So that's definitely possible. Kirby is teaching tennis again, and I actually saw her this past March in California. I don't think she's playing or hitting at all, but I could ask her. That'd be fun to have like a reunion bracket. ET coach reunion bracket would be a lot of fun. Can we get a private from you? Yeah, you can. If you go to essentialtennis.com and click on coaching, you can see, Mark, I guess you're just bad. All right. Waiting for Alcaraz to be caught changing in the locker room, taking off the mask and finally seeing that he's a green alien. Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, he's like some kind of android or something. Tips for tennis elbow. So yeah, if you do a search on YouTube for Essential Tennis elbow, then I've done 4 or 5 videos over the years with physical therapists and some like really innovative exercises and like drills that you can do to help both with golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. Golfer's elbow is on the inside. People usually call it also tennis elbow. Tennis elbow is on the top. And some old videos I've uploaded that cover both tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. So just do a search for Essential Tennis elbow, and you'll find that. Let's see, I lost my spots. Okay, here we go. How can I win more matches in tennis? Wow. Watch all the videos on all 2,000 videos on the Essential Tennis YouTube channel. But in all seriousness, I don't know unless I watch you play a match. It might be technical, it might be tactical, it might be mental, it might be footwork related, it might be positioning related, it might be where you're aiming your shots, it might be you're too impatient. I guess that kind of goes back to mental. It might be you're a poor competitor and like you just constantly crumble under pressure. Get better at all of those things, all of them. And ideally, record yourself, see which one of those things you're most weak in, and then prioritize and start with the top one and work your way down. Hey, Snuggles. That's a great screen name. Top 3 tips for teaching kids tennis. Tip number 1, make it fun. Tip number 2, work on eye-hand coordination skills and like manipulating the racket face and like a ball, you know, like rolling it on the racket face, like tapping and like bouncing the ball, like anything that coordinates the eyes and the hands and the ball together. Even just like scraping the racket and just like tapping, you know, like tapping a ball like into a goal or into a target, stuff like that. Anything that combines hands, eyes, racket, ball, and make it fun. That's all. Those two things. I don't even. Those are the most important things. If you do a great job of those 2 things, then you're killing it. What happened to your old inside courts? Got turned into a basketball court. We lost that space. What are your tips to get more consistent in tennis? Hit thousands and thousands of balls and record yourself and see what you're doing wrong. Here's the thing. You can get more consistent doing it the way you're doing it now, or you can fix the fundamental flaws that are definitely in your strokes and become more consistent because your habits are fundamentally better. And if you can make your habits fundamentally better, then you'll just make more balls automatically. And that's the better, you know, more sustainable, long-term improvement way of doing it. Or you can just hit a crap load of balls and do it the way you're currently doing it, but just do it a little bit better and a little bit more precisely. You'll still get better at tennis and you'll still be more consistent, but you won't have as high of a ceiling if you don't check what you're doing and fix your mistakes and fix your flaws. Let's see here. How's the air quality out there? Terrible. It's honestly really bad. I heard yesterday that locally here, the air quality reading was the worst in the world. Like, out of anywhere in the world, we had the worst air quality at a local airport here, out of every other like big city in the world. So it's really bad. Top 3 ET Arena matches of all time. Ira versus Adam comes to mind first. That was such an epic match. I'm sorry, Adam. You probably won't see this, but Adam to this day, every time I talk to him, is like, dude, can I rematch Ira? And every time I bring it up to Ira's like, nope. Ira basically could just retire on that. MEP versus Topher, definitely top 3. Both 3-set epics. If you haven't seen those 2 matches, go watch those matches. Some of the best content we've ever put out. Man, those come to mind right away. Will versus Mike Trice was really high quality. That was also 3 sets. Yeah, I don't know. Those are top 2. And number 3, I'd have to kind of think about it. What's your advice for dudes who are always rushing the warm-up? Yeah, there's not. So my advice, John, is warm up yourself first. If you're relying 100% on your opponent to give you a high quality warm-up and you don't do anything yourself ahead of time, then you're just kind of asking to be disappointed. So get to the club or the court a half an hour ahead of time. If you do a search for Essential Tennis podcast warm-up, or you go on YouTube and do a search for Essential Tennis warm-up, but the podcast in particular, I talk about warming up mentally, warming up physically, and warming up your tennis, and how you can do it by yourself. You have to take ownership of the warm-up for yourself, and almost kind of assume that the opponent warm-up is going to be a waste of time. If you're relying on your opponent for a good warm-up, you're going to be angry a lot. Yeah, and I understand. Like, you might not have like an open court, and I cover that in the podcast. I get guys who do a few swings. Okay, how can I win more tennis matches? I already answered that. Something about Joker. Hey Bruno, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, Marcus playing 5-0, I definitely agree. Have you ever played anyone outside of the United States? Like, with me outside the United States, or anybody from outside the United States? When I played 3 years of college tennis, and NCAA tennis is basically, we kind of joked that it was basically the worldwide like college tour. When I walked onto my college team as a sophomore, and there was one other American on the team. And that year we went to NCAA Nationals, Division II. So Sweet 16. So final 16 teams in Division II. And at like the opening night, like dinner event, we went down and counted all the Americans. I don't remember the actual number, but it was something like 11 or 12 out of 16 teams. It was like less than one American per team. So I've played a crap load of international players as a college competitor, and not a lot since then, but yeah, college tennis, I got a lot of international exposure, but I haven't gone outside of the United States to play competitively, if that's what you're asking. Can you talk about your college doubles experience? I think I've heard you say before that you played NCAA Division II. Yeah, wow. How about that, right after? Is that right? Yeah. I played, like I said, 3 years of college tennis at D2. I got substituted my junior year. There was some like eligibility problems with one of our best players, and I got substituted in with our #1 player at the individual NCAA tournament in the fall. And in our regional tournament, he and I went to the finals. We beat 3 seeds. And had we won the finals, we would have gone to the national tournament. I was the worst player on the team. And I've talked a few times about how much I learned from that experience. Like he really like brought the best out of me. In fact, if you do a search for Essential Tennis Best Doubles of My Life, I believe is the title of the podcast. There's a podcast where I talk about like the biggest lessons I learned from that experience. Playing with somebody way better than me and really getting elevated by him up to his level of play. And that was an amazing experience for me. It was definitely the best tennis I played. It was kind of like a blackout, like wake up later kind of experience for me. And at the end of that, yeah, he and I got a national ranking after that briefly. We were like number 18 or 17 in the country or something in Division II doubles for like a month. And we didn't play again after that, so dropped off after that. Have Mark down Taco Bell on each game change. Oh, jeez. And he's a big fan of Tullamore Dew. Yeah, we should have him do a shot of a shot of Tullamore Dew and like eat a chalupa on every changeover.
Call to action.
For what?
Or just likes.
Oh. I'll hang out a couple more minutes. If you guys are enjoying, do me a favor, click the like button. And also, now there's a few more of you here. Tomorrow, Mark is playing Mike Sanset live on the channel for Ultra members. Okay, what's the secret to your forehand volley mastery? Honestly, it's using the body. The more engaged your body is turning, the more relaxed and loose your arm and your hand can be. And when you're receiving a big, fast shot, if you're like tight and tense and clenching down with your arm and your hand, AKA you're punching your volley, which is what everybody teaches, sadly, still, which is, in my opinion, terrible instruction. If you're tight and tense and the ball is coming in fast, then it's like just a random like ricochet that happens off your strings. And so the key is being relaxed. And you can only be relaxed when your body turns. But hardly anybody focuses on body rotation. If you just do a YouTube search for Essential Tennis Volley lesson and watch any lesson with me working with a student, you'll see some drills that I do with students to help them loosen up and relax and get rid of like the frickin' like tack hammer like punch, or like drywall, you know, hammer like punch, and go do it like the pros do, which is much more smooth and relaxed. I do believe a 3-player can have an effective drop shot. Yeah, sure. Yeah, especially at the 3-0 level. No disrespect to 3-0 players, but they don't really anticipate. They're more kind of waiting and watching, and they're like, okay, what's going to happen next? And so frankly, if foot speed isn't a strength of theirs, and anticipation probably definitely isn't, then even if your drop shot is kind of okay, then it can definitely be effective, especially since 3-0 players also generally aren't a huge fan of the net. And they're kind of trying to buy time and space and kind of hanging back. So yeah, drop shot can work great. First set with Tweener Addict was probably worse I've seen you play. No, I've definitely played worse than that. But okay, worse that you've seen. But if you go through my other matches, you'll see worse point play than that. Do you feel like the new racket played a part in your performance? No, well, so very minimally. I'll say yes in the sense that it was my first time hitting with new strings in quite a while, and there were 2 or 3 shots that I hit, like kind of touch shots, that just fell like 6 inches short and like hit the net. And so that's me kind of recalibrating a different firmness of racket face. But honestly, the racket feels very close to identical to the version 2. And so there's very little, so no, I didn't feel uncomfortable because of the racket. The court surface played a big part. The lack of match play. It was my second match in a year and a half. And Chris probably played that many matches last week. And so it's not a fair fight, to be totally honest. The court surface was 100%, beneficial to him, not to me. I wanted a really challenging environment, and that's what I got. And so I got super exposed, and that's kind of what I want. I kind of want to know exactly where I'm at. Where you're just completely outplayed, and he also played really well. So yes, I was outplayed. Yes, I was uncomfortable. Yes, I had lack of match, experience, and yeah, it wasn't pretty. The second set's much more competitive. Make sure you don't miss the second set. It was very different than the first set. The owner's basically, okay, what happened to your old, okay, how many, dude, I answered that like 15 minutes ago. Who is second, Federer and Nadal? Okay, so that's the question now. Oh, geez. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm tempted, I want to say Nadal because he has the head-to-head. Are they tied in slams? You probably don't know that, James. Are they tied in slams? I'm way behind on the chat, so I'm not going to find out. If Roger's ahead in, can you look it up real quick? Can you pull up a browser window real quick? And just type in Grand Slams all-time tennis. I probably have to go Nadal, just because the head-to-head with Nadal is really overwhelming. He's beat Roger so many more times. It's almost 2-1, I think, if I remember correctly. Oh, yeah, he's got 2 more. Yeah, Nadal. For me, 100% Nadal. So he's got 2 more Grand Slams and the head-to-head. Yeah, you gotta go Nadal. Working on overheads, help with my serve. Not necessarily. It's possible, but there's no guarantee. We see players with an awesome serve and a terrible. We just had somebody. Our last private student here had an awesome serve and it is like a bad overhead. So are they technically very similar? Yes. Just because you're good at one doesn't mean that it's going to naturally carry over to the other. Absolutely not. So maybe, but there's absolutely no guarantees. What level is Kirby? I don't know what she is right now. She was a high level, I think she was nationally ranked junior. She played some D1 college. So she probably at one point was playing a 5.0 level. What is she right now? I have no idea. I don't know how much she's been hitting or if she is. Can you make a Real Tennis Instagram filter? Can I make, Real Tennis Instagram filter? What is that? Instagram filter for, maybe he means account. Still recording the podcast? Yeah, I just started, thank you for asking. I just posted a bunch of new podcast episodes, just starting like a month ago. And we have a couple more in the can. So yeah, we have a bunch coming out. Fun to watch McKinley mixed. Please play it again. Yeah, maybe I will. Why are there days when I can serve great and other days where I can barely hit the bloody thing in? Serve's the most complicated, difficult technique in all of tennis. It's not even close. So honestly, like there's some people, like I've always felt very confident with my serve with a couple hiccups here and there. And I feel like I just kind of have the rhythm and the tempo in my head. And I've very rarely struggled with confidence in it. And other people are very up and down. It's a little bit of the luck of the draw. And then also like how quality are your fundamentals and your mechanics. If you have any significant flaws in your arm motion and how you use your body, being consistent and confident day after day is next to impossible. If your toss is garbage, it's impossible. If you've got a big hitch in your motion, it's basically impossible to be very high quality and very consistent at the same time. All right, last couple. I don't even know how far behind I am with the chat, so I'm sorry if I don't get to everybody, but I don't have all day. I like your book, however, on many points you could have gone into more detail. My favorite, listen, yeah, to make a book that had all the details would have been 1,000 pages. It would have been longer than that. Balotelli has a book that's this thick, like it looks like a college textbook, and it's about tennis. Like, here's how you can be good at tennis. And so anytime I publish anything, YouTube video, a podcast, a blog post, an email, a book, we're gonna leave stuff out. Like it's not gonna have everything. One of my favorite comments on YouTube videos on Essential Tennis is somebody will watch me working with a student on X, Y, or Z skill, and somebody will comment saying, you forgot about like X, Y, Z. And it's like, we can't work on everything every hour, every student. You know, it's like, of course, like things are left out consciously and purposefully every time we publish something. So could we have gone into more detail? Yes. Do we have unlimited paper in the world? No. So yes, things were left out. Sorry if that answer sounds kind of snarky, but I've been publishing things for a long time, and that's like one of the most common like things. Do you plan on writing something else? I actually had a phone call with my co-writer this morning on the way here, and we are planning another book, but it might not be about tennis. I'm glad to see you guys back making content. Should do a tournament for subscribers. That sounds like a lot of work. Not impossible, but, and also we have no control over the quality, you know, really. I mean, ask Mark, like he's run a tournament. Like, it's impossible to know the quality of the matchups until people are here doing it. And now we got to film like however many, you have no idea what you're asking. The amount of work, I'm assuming you mean like for content. And yeah, that would be a lot of fun. But like we just don't have that kind of bandwidth. And just doing it for fun, maybe, like not for content, that'd be more doable. Yeah, we'll think about that. Best volley drill, do a search for Essential Tennis Simple Volley. What's it called? Do Nothing Volley is the name of the book chapter. Essential Tennis Simple Volley Drill will probably bring it up on Essential Tennis channel. All right, I'm going to answer 3 more questions, and then I got to sign off so that we got to pack this stuff up and put everything away. I want to see Adam versus MEP. That would be entertaining, especially outside would be super entertaining. Ian versus Adam and Topher versus MEP are 2. Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm way behind on the chat. What about Mark versus Ira? I won't count that. So fun to watch McKinley. I feel like I saw that already. Could you do a video with warm-ups off the courts? That's a good idea. Yeah, I don't think I've done that specifically. Although if you do a search for Essential Tennis match warm-up, everything I do in that warm-up you can do off the court. So I demonstrated on a tennis court, but you can do it in the parking lot or in the viewing area or whatever. All right, 2 more. When playing outside is annoying, isn't it? Yes, yeah, 1,000%. I won't count that. What's your favorite tennis ball to use? Diadem, definitely. And in all seriousness, like I've got 2 cans of Diadem balls on the bench right there. That's what we were going to hit with today, Topher and I. I feel like some balls are kind of like rocks, you know, they're like super hard out of the can. And then other ones are more mushy. And I feel like Diadem is the baby bear porridge like ball. It's like satisfyingly in the middle. Like it's like a clean feel off the racket, but without being hard. I feel like it balances it really well. So we've been using those balls for a couple years now. So many players have commented on the balls and asked like, oh, what are these? Like they feel really good. So I highly recommend the Diadem ball for sure. All right, one last question. Better be a good one. Let's see, I'll find one that I want to answer. What type of opponent do you hate to play against? That's a good one. Ever consider switching to a 2-hander to protect the shoulder? No. When I try to hit a 2-handed backhand, it looks like I'm riding a bike with square wheels. I heard that once. I think that's a really good analogy. It's just, I've got the yips, like putting the second hand on, and it's awful. I could probably work through it, but it's just, A, having a one-hander is way better for teaching. B, I really like the aesthetic of the one-hander. C, I'm very stubborn, and I want to get it. And I like, just for my own satisfaction. I know it's painful and a struggle for you guys watching it, but it's like just on principle at this point for me now, like I want to get it and I want to learn how to do it correctly and I want to learn how to do it well. So I'm going to keep doing the one-handed backhand, no matter how painful it is for you. I'm gonna keep doing it. All right, I was way behind on chat, so I'm sorry. Hey, Byron, I see Byron in there. Paul Smith, Mr. Funky, Nick Marks, Joshua Thomas, John, Hobby and Fun Tennis. Sorry, I was super behind on the chat. If you guys enjoyed this, click the like button, and maybe I'll do it again in the future. Just did it today because Topher didn't show up. We were supposed to train, and we went to the trouble of setting everything up, so it was like, what can we do? So that's why I did it today. If you enjoyed it, that's good, and maybe we'll do it again in the future. Tons more content coming out. Is part 2 of my match coming out tomorrow?
Publicly, yeah.
What is
Members
okay?
Today.
Members, you'll get part 2 of my match later today. Super fan and ultra fan level, and it'll go public tomorrow. Part 2 of my match against Chris. Thanks everybody for your support. Thanks for watching. Thanks for enabling what we're doing here. Talk to you again really soon. Take care.